Hi, my name is Chris Ryan. Welcome to Hit Golf Academy and welcome to another episode of Subscriber Saturday. So this is where I help you guys out there with your golf swing. So if you would like to have your swing analysed on this particular show, then let me know. You can email me your swing at swings@chrisryangolf.com, or you can let me have your swing via Instagram, so you can inbox me there. My username on Instagram is Chris Ryan Golf. Now, we're going to do two swings today. We're going to look at the swing from Brent Reed, and we're going to look at the swing from golfer Scott, who sent me his swing via Instagram. So we're going to look at two of these today. So we're going to start with Brent Reed, and you can see his setup on the screen there. We're just going to put a couple of little references on here. And we're going to take this golf swing through. Now, there's a couple of things that we could look at in setup here. You can just about see how maybe his forearm alignment isn't quite as good as we'd like it to be. We can just see a little bit of the underneath of his left forearm. However, that can sometimes be just the camera angle. Sometimes if the camera's slightly off, we can get that alignment slightly differently. I would also just maybe want to look at the balance points. To me, it looks as if he might have a little bit too much weight on the heels. So those are things that we maybe want to tidy up in the golf swing. But if we just take the backswing through, and what we're really going to start to look at here is I just want you to look at where the club head is relative to his hands. So you can see how if I circle the club head, it's there, and if you circle the hands, it's there. So the club head is, as looks like it's to the right of the hands, and this is something that's absolutely fine, and we often see this, you know, as one of the traits that we tend to see with the good player, so not really an issue there. And you'll notice that at this point here, the club shaft references somewhere between the toe line and the ball line. And again, this is something that we tend to see, you know, quite commonly. This is something that I would actually, you know, quite like to see in the golf swing. He then folds the forearms nicely and gets the golf club into a pretty nice position at the top. Now we're just going to go backwards a couple of frames, and I'm just going to mark the grip end of the golf club. So just the kind of bit that we can see just in there. Now, as we transition from back to down, you're going to see that part of the club is going to want to move a little bit back as it starts to move a little bit down. So we're just going to show you that now. So you can see that it starts to move a little bit differently there on the way down. So you can see there's almost like a loop in the hands. Now, the result of that is that we start to get the center of mass in a different place relative to the hands than we would like it. We can see, as we take it to the next frame, you can see how the center of mass of the golf clubs, that's what we call the weight or the balance of the golf club. So let me see if I can try and highlight that for you. So the club head, if you like, we'll call it the club head, it's going to be easier to sort of spot that, is slightly outside the hands on the way down. So almost similar to what it was on the backswing. And we would like the club head and certainly the sort of weight of the club, if you like, we call it the center of mass, to be a little bit more underneath the hand path. So one of the checkpoints that I would like to see this golfer work towards would be a point roughly about here, where the club shaft, which is in here somewhere, is a little bit closer to the trail forearm, as illustrated by that second line there. What that would tend to lead us to is a position a little bit more here where, again, that club head, which is slightly outside the hands, I would like to see either in line or slightly behind the hands. Now, there's a couple of things that kind of contribute to this. You'll notice how, let me just clear those lines. You'll notice how this golfer has his right heel maybe a little bit too active, moving upwards too much. That's going to cause the right knee to move in, and to me his right hip is going to be probably a little bit too high as well. So we would start to link a little bit of what happens with the club head and the legs together. So for this golfer, we would try and get them roughly to this point, because I think that moves fairly decent, and I would try and look at stopping this kind of move with the handle where it moves down this way, and trying to feel that the handle moves a little bit more down towards the golf ball, but we start to feel like the weight of the club is dropping a little bit more behind that golfer as we start to get the hips and the knees to work a little bit better. Quite a difficult move. This is going to be complicated, but it's going to be a few different moving parts, but I really think this golfer is going to achieve more speed. They're probably going to find that they deliver the club a bit more consistently, and they probably just get some real good benefits from that. So a few different moves here, but I would look at what the hip is doing and I would look at where the weight of the golf club is relative to the hands on the downswing. I think that golfer's going to get some good success from that. So, Brent, hopefully that helps if you are watching this. Right, next one we're going to bring is, this was Golfer Scott. That was his Instagram name. Now, I would say that this looks like a fairly accomplished golfer. Definitely a few things we would like to look into, but certainly looks as if he does a lot of things very, very well. Now, we're going to start off on the left-hand side. If I play this through, you're going to take a look at the ball flight here, and you can see that it looks like he's hit a pretty good shot. Relative to his foot line, it would appear that he's playing this ball a little bit of a left to right shape. Now, absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's lots of golfers out there who play that shape very well, but I would want to start looking a little bit at his club face control through the golf swing. It's difficult to see. It would be a lot easier to see this in person, but I would like to just take a look at how he's applying his hands to the golf club. I think that the way he applies his hands is a slightly weak fashion, which means that from his viewpoint, as he looks down, both of those hands look a little bit rotated to his left. Now, that sort of suggests a couple of things. It suggests that the golf club's going to be probably a little bit open through the golf swing. It suggests that he's probably going to have to swing a little bit left to make that work. It would suggest that he's going to have the handle a little bit further back than he might like. So we're possibly going to see the ball flight a little bit too high, possibly going to see not enough speed into the golf ball because we can't produce or present the right amount of loft. Now, I say, it looks like a very accomplished golfer. He looks like he does very well with this. Looks like he achieves certainly some good moves with that slightly weaker grip. But I would certainly look at trying to address that, because I think there's a few things that we would like to look at in the golf swing, but I think we'd have to start with trying to get the grip in position, because to me at the top, club face just looks a little bit weak here. It's difficult to see because it goes a little bit blurry, but I think there we can see that the sort of toe of the golf club is hanging a little bit more down, a little bit of cup in that left wrist, which is certainly not going to help. So for me, the first thing I would look at would be to try and look at the grip and try and control the club face a little bit more, because I think as we try and change delivery and paths, we would need that grip to change in order to keep that ball in the right sort of on target, if you like. The second thing I would look at with this golfer will be a little bit more the rotation of the pivot. If I clear these lines here, you're going to see, and I'm going to draw a couple of lines on the right hand side, you're going to see that there is definitely some movement away from the target with his hips. So you're going to see, as I play this on the right, you're going to see his hips move a little bit away from the target. So you can see a movement this way. Now if we go to the left hand side, again, this is more just me kind of trying to communicate what I see. The right hip almost looks as if it gets pushed towards the camera and too high. So it almost looks like the pop that I would suggest that if we could get this golfer on a 3D system, there's probably going to be too much tilt in the pelvis. Lead hip dropping a little bit too much, which raises the right hip a little bit too much. And again, you know, I do believe that the pivot is really key to the golf swing. It's one of the things that I do tend to work on quite a lot with my clients. So for me, I would look at the rotation of the legs, looking at what his hips do. I'd probably like to get this golfer on K-vest, try and measure what his hip tilt is in the backswing, and see if we can get him, give him some ideas on how he could rotate his lower body a little bit better. Which ultimately is going to help him deliver the club. If we can sync that up with a slightly better grip and a better club face position, to me this golfer looks pretty talented. I think we could probably get him hitting the ball a little bit more solidly, relatively quickly, with a few ideas around the club face and how he uses the hips in the backswing. So, 2 swings today, slightly different. Couple on where the club head is relative to the hands with the first one with Brent. And then with Golfer Scott there, just a little bit on the club face and how the hips move. So hopefully that's informative to you. Again, these videos are really trying to obviously help as many people as I can, but almost trying to get you to, you know, to maybe question how you look at the golf swing. There's a lot of things that people tend to look at, you know, postures and all that kind of stuff, which, you know, golfers can change those, but it doesn't often impact the ball flight. And so it's, you know, the golf swing might look aesthetically better, but is it really going to help you with the ball flight? For the majority of people that I see on a weekly basis, they're recreational golfers. They've got no ambitions of making it on the PGA European Tour. So we're not trying to give them perfect golf swings where they can shoot 65. It's just, can they improve what they're currently doing? And often the things that they're trying to change, you know, my stance is too wide, my posture's not great. those things aren't going to change the ball flight. So it's looking a little bit more at what will actually change the ball flight, what will change the delivery of the golf club, because that is how we're going to ultimately get better. Right, if you would like your swing to be featured in this video series, then email me at swings@chrisryangolf.com. You can also hit me on Instagram, chrisryangolf. Inbox me there with your swing. Try and keep them varied. Let's try and get some wedge shots. Let's try and get some chips, some putts, some bunkers, some shot shaping, whatever it may be. It's going to be more beneficial to you guys if we can get a lot of variety of golf swings on here. So hopefully that's helped the two that we featured today. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Hopefully you are enjoying this video series. Please let me know, because this is something I'm trying for 2018. This is the second video in this series, going alongside the videos I already currently do. So let me know in the comments box whether you like this and whether you would like it to continue. Right, thanks for watching. Usual stuff is down below. There's a like button down there. There's a comments box. And there's also a link to subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, click that link. 3 videos, 4 videos now each and every week. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and this video series going out each and every Saturday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again this week.